Shields up, Ironbreakers. How's everybody doing? Okay, I can hear myself somewhere. I see it. Ha! Sorry about that. Shields up, Ironbreakers. How's everybody doing? Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about Code Vein. Now, you guys may or may not know about this. I think most of you do because of their little Prepare to Dine teaser, which I think a lot of people saw and they thought, oh my God, there's another Soulsborne coming. It's coming. And I saw it and I was like, there's no way. There's no, Miyazaki said he wasn't going to do it. There's no way. So it's clearly not another Soulsborne game. I mean, it can be a Souls-like, can be a Souls-inspired title, but I don't even think that is what it's going to be. So let's talk about it a little bit, just a little bit. I don't know how long this cast is going to be, but I wanted to talk about Code Vein because I think it's going to be good. I think. I could be completely wrong, could be completely right. I do think that people should most definitely check it out once it comes out. But before we get started talking about it, I say we take a look at that trailer that got everybody excited about the possibility of a new Soulsborne. So let's take a look at that, shall we?
Peggy 16.
Prepare to Dine. So that was the trailer that got everybody excited. Everybody was just thinking about what the hell's going on. Now, personally, first thing that you'll notice in this trailer, I'm going to lower the volume now so that we can actually talk over it. First thing you notice in this trailer is just straight up vampire, you know? Straight up vampire right there. So it's like, at the second I saw this, I was like, this can't be Souls. I don't think Miyazaki would go into straight up vampires. Could be wrong. Who knows? Could be completely wrong. Then you have this really interesting art style that they've done for this trailer, which looks really cool. And then you have this big-ass monster in the background. Big-ass monster. That was my first tip-off that this could be something different. Because obviously there's big-ass monsters in Dark Souls, but there's also big-ass monsters in other games. Now here you got this big-ass bonfire. It looks like some kind of a monster burning off in here, which I guess a lot of people thought, oh my God, it's kindling the bonfires. Then you see the mask on this particular vampire, and they have masks on some of the screenshots that we have available. You see this guy turning into something else. This is, I believe, referred to in this game as a lost, which is once you lose, it's not lose your humanity, but it's like once you don't feed for a long time or something, because you're going to play as a revenant, I believe. That's what they call them. And once you don't feed for a long time, you're going to like bleh, transform, become a monster. You're going to become one of them. Not sure what's the deal with the cards here, but once you don't feed for a long time, you're going to become one of these guys. Cool thing, though. I like seeing her waving this rifle around like a weapon. That looks cool. Also don't know what's the deal with a Russian winter hat on her, but okay, we'll run with that. And she jumps off. You see a little bit of an image of her face, enough to see that this is going to be very anime-like. Straight up from her face right there. And then you see her facing off against the giant beastie. Yeah, big-ass monster. Okay, so what game has big-ass monsters besides Soul series that is actually really good? Games that have big-ass monsters besides the Soul series would be games like in the Monster Hunter series. Because those monsters over there are real cool. They're fun to fight and all that good stuff. So wouldn't it be good if this is like some kind of a mix between Souls and Monster Hunter? Wouldn't that be awesome? I think that'd be really cool. That's just a personal thing. So let's take a quick look at the release that Bandai did today before we go into thumbnails. Bare your fangs with Code Vein. Lust for blood and live for death as you search for answers to the forgotten past. The forgotten past. This seems to be a pretty important theme here because apparently as you gain powers, you're going to be losing your memories. And the more memories you lose, eventually you can become one of those lost, which are the monsters. KV, where is gameplay? We don't have gameplay for Code Vein yet. But we do have a couple of screenshots of in-game screenshots that we'll be looking at in a minute. Bandai Namco Entertainment Europe today announces Code Vein for release on major home consoles in 2018. Major home consoles 2018, in my opinion, that's going to mean PS4, Xbox Scorpio, whatever they're going to eventually call it, and probably Switch, because I think by 2018, people are not going to be able to ignore the Switch anymore. It's just going to have to be, like, it's going to be on all those consoles. And it'd be great if it was on the Switch, because if this plays like a Monster Hunter game, wouldn't it be awesome to be able to do local play with friends? I don't know, just throwing stuff out there. Feast on the blood of enemies through a journey across a massive interconnected world to unlock its mysterious sanguine past in this grueling action RPG. In the not-too-distant future, mysterious disaster has brought collapse to the world as we know it. Towering skyscrapers, once symbols of prosperity, are now lifeless graves of humanity's past, pierced by the thorns of judgment. At the center of the destruction lies a hidden society of revenants called Vane. So your character is a revenant, and the society of revenants to which you belong is called Vane. Therefore, Code Vein. Vein, as in the veins that you have in your body that are filled with blood. This final stronghold is where the remaining few fight to survive, blessed with the gifts of power in exchange for their memories and a thirst for blood. So you gain power, you give up memories, and you gain a thirst for blood. You become a vampire, essentially. Give in to the bloodlust fully and risk becoming one of the lost, fiendish ghouls devoid of any humanity remaining. In this challenging action RPG, challenging being a very important word, which means it's supposedly not going to be an easy game, which is something that we like. So hopefully they pull through with that. Code Vein finds players assuming the role of a revenant after stumbling into Vane. Players are tasked to embark into the world with a companion picked from the various residents of Vane to uncover lost memories and exit out of this new demented reality. The world of Code Vein is dangerous, full of vicious enemies and monstrous bosses to put players' combat skills to the test. Once again, challenging action RPG, combat skills to the test. Revenants also have access to blood veils, devices capable of draining the blood of their enemies in order to enhance their own abilities. Exploiting these enhanced abilities known as gifts, players can change their form to increase their strength, weaken enemies, and utilize new weapon abilities with overpowered attacks. Utilizing the vast array of weaponry along each character's gifts, players can adapt and strategize to a variety of battle conditions that suit their playstyles. So something they don't mention here, and that I've seen in another article, which was this article on Silicon Era, is that Bandai Namco reveals Code Vein, God Eater's Team new action RPG. Now, I don't know how many of you guys remember God Eater, which is a game that I personally enjoy. I haven't finished God Eater. I've been playing it with friends, so I'm taking my time with that game. I did do a first impressions of it a while back. This is God Eater 2. You guys can see this is part of the anime showing some of the characters and stuff. This is like one of the intros that you get. I should probably not let that music play because it's probably going to get me a content ID match or something. But basically, this is what the graphics look like. This is like a remastered version of God Eater. So God Eater has been around for a long time in Japan and I believe on PlayStation Portable. So was it 2016? I think it was 2016 when they released a new version of, not a new version, like a remastered version on the PlayStation 4. Which actually looks and plays real good in my opinion. Let me actually put a little bit up ahead so that we can actually see some gameplay of God Eater for those of you that are not familiar with it. Oh wow, spoilers. Also pay attention to these weapons because I will be referencing these weapons in a couple of minutes here, so pay attention now. You guys can see that this is obviously a hammer. This dude is actually, this is part of cinematic. Let's actually get the gameplay. Can we get the gameplay? Is that a thing we can do? Okay, here's some gameplay. In here, I believe we are using a longsword. Yeah, you can see our longsword right there. You have other characters. There's also someone using a hammer in the background there, and I believe that this other person is using a greatsword. Now, pay attention to these weapons and what they look like, because like I said, we're going to be referencing this in a couple of minutes. Either way, this is God Eater. This is what it looks like. Like I said, this is a little bit of an older game. It got an HD remaster, and it was the first time that I was playing it. Personally, I enjoy this. This is like a more action-focused Monster Hunter type of game. You guys can see we're switching between melee weapons, ranged weapons, and it's got the 4-player party style. Here we have NPCs, but you can have actually 4 other friends with you. Now, just remember, this is not Code Vein, for those of you just entering the stream. This is God Eater 2, okay? Just to put you into a perspective of the kind of stuff that the God Eater team has done, so as to, like, some of what you can expect in Code Vein. So anyway, this is God Eater. If you guys want to watch that video, it's in the channel. You can just look up God Eater in my channel, and you'll find this video. You can see my first impressions on God Eater 2 there. And here they mention a couple of more keywords that I don't think that Namco mentioned. I don't know where they got this one. Blood smelting. The action becomes possible after acquiring blood from the lost. After successfully sucking up their blood using Blood Veil, this allows you to power yourself up. Well, I don't know where they got blood smelting specifically. Maybe that was mentioned and I was just reading through it, didn't see it. But either way, yeah, this is how I came across the fact that it's actually the God Eater team that is behind this game. So now let's actually take a look at some of the stuff. I went to the press vault from Bandai Namco and got some of these things. So the first thing that we got here is a piece of artwork. Let's take a look at it, shall we? Now this artwork has resolution out the wazoo. Like I could literally zoom into this thing like a bunch of times and it will still be looking pretty good. See, look at how sharp this still looks considering how zoomed in it is. So this thing has resolution out the ass. But anyway, you can see here that this character has some kind of like a chain weapon. I've seen screenshots of this particular character. She's using this chain weapon. She also has a rifle here. This dude's got some kind of like claws as well as a sword. Now, I'm not sure if this means they're going to be able to dual wield. Either way, they have some very stylish outfits. You got that black and red going on here. Very vampire-like, the red eyes and stuff. So these would probably be 2 revenants, and they have a lost right here at the bottom. Can I actually move this image around? Yeah. They have a lost here at the bottom, who is apparently another vampire who completely succumbed to the bloodthirst and became this thing. Now, is this a thing that you can do in-game to gain power? Like you can actually completely lose yourself for a while, become one of these beasts, and then return? We don't know. Right now, it seems that the lost is like a permanent transformation, and you just become one of these things, and you will you'll die. Well, you won't die, but you will lose yourself, and eventually these revenants will kill you. Look at these claws, such detail. So one of the things that I definitely like about this game is that it doesn't seem like it's using an outdated engine. So let's actually look at some in-game screenshots here. Also, in case you guys are curious, this is the official logo for the game. We have a white version of the logo, Code Vein, which is also what I used in my thumbnail for this video. And we have it in black, whatever. And let's check out screenshots. We'll screen this. Okay, so important thing, this is the first screenshot we're looking at. Important thing about this particular screenshot is look at this sword. Look at how it's got so much tech behind it, right? This seems, I mean, this sword does not seem like super just straight up taken out of God Eater, but the next sword. You'll see. Either way, we can clearly see that this sword has like some kind of extension mechanic, so most likely this thing will withdraw with it inside itself so that you can carry it easier and you don't have to carry it extended the whole time, which is, again, something that we see a lot in Monster Hunter-like games, you know, the extendable weapons that then collapse once you put them on your back so that your character can run faster and stuff like that. But yeah, this, I would imagine, is just your basic short or long sword. Most likely like just a long sword that you'll be able to carry around. I wonder what's the function of the mask. I wonder if it's just like dosing you with blood from time to time, or if there's actually some kind of a virus in the air that will, you know, destroy you I don't know. Either way, this sword, as you can see, I was telling guys to pay attention on those God Eater swords when we were showing God Eater gameplay. Actually, my image is there. That should give you a better view of the sword. This sword, very similar to some of the stuff that we have seen in God Eater. So I'm assuming that these vampires also possess, these revenants, I keep calling them vampires, they're actually called revenants in the game. They're going to possess some kind of super strength, I'm assuming. We shall see if that is the case or not, to be able to wield weapons this big. Because, I mean, in God Eater, you needed to have, like, the God Eater thing, which I forget what it was. There's, like, some kind of mutation that you guys have that enables you to wield these big-ass weapons. So in here, there has to be, like, some kind of justification why this character is able to just wield this massive fucking sword. Or maybe not. Who knows? I'm just assuming that these characters are going to have, like, some justification for it. And also, notice how this sword seems to have some kind of bits of blood here. Maybe this absorbs blood off of monsters. Like, maybe these little things here, like, once you hit and, like, thrust this into a loss or something, you're able to drain their blood, and then it gets drained back into the sword. I don't think you see any mechanic like that on the first sword. It does have some kind of tubing going on here, so maybe it is able to absorb the blood somehow. So maybe these weapons just straight up absorb blood into your character to keep you going. Who knows? Again, it's all speculation at this point. Once again, you can see there is the little tubings here going straight from the blade. They're connected to the blade, so maybe the blade's able to, you know, I don't know. Either way, this is a rifle-type weapon. These are very different from the ranged weapons that you have in God Eater, which is good. Because the ranged weapons God Eater are basically all just like giant Gatling guns that do different things. This one, much more of like a rifle and bayonet feel. Kind of like it. I also like the armors. It's very gothic. And again, look at the engine. While it's not, you know, you look at some of the background footage. This, again, game currently under development, so whatever. But you look at some of the background footage, it's not the best we've seen, but the character detail looks amazing. I'm just hoping they work a little bit into these sceneries so that we don't have to deal with a lot of invisible walls, which is something that we would usually see in something like God Eater and even Monster Hunter to some extent. Because it'd be like, well, you see this here, invisible wall, can't jump down here. You know, I hope they work around that, you know, because they do say massive interconnected world. So hopefully they make good on that and not do the thing that most Japanese games tend to do, which is let's focus on the characters and the rest of the world is whatever, which is okay in a lot of games, but I would really like this one to be a little bit more detailed so that we can really explore the open world. Like for instance, the open world in Nier Automata, not the best open world I've seen. Okay, let's just throw it that way. I mean, it's a great game. It's a fantastic fucking game. But the open world, not its best feature. Here, you see, like I told you guys to pay attention to those guided weapons. Here's the hammer. Now, this hammer seems very high-tech. I'm just wondering if there's a rocket behind that hammer, just like the one in God Eater, because it definitely looks like that. But yeah, we're probably going to be rocking the hammer when this thing comes out, because you guys know me, I love my hammers, even though for some reason I didn't rock the hammer for long in God Eater. I swapped it up. I think I was using spear last time I played that game. But once again, characters' armor and details just look so good. Let me see if we can zoom into this a little bit. Well, this one doesn't have the resolution of the art piece, but this armor looks good. Like the detail on the characters is looking really good. Also, notice how they're using that cell shading on the characters' faces so that they look more anime-like and whatnot. That's cool. Let's take a look at another one. Here we have some kind of, this looks like a pole arm. Once again, let me actually just say, see, again, you have the little tubings, which I'm assuming are for some kind of blood absorption. I'm telling you guys, these tubes are for absorbing blood, for straight up draining blood out of your enemies. They have to be. And in here we have them again, the little tubes that are here to absorb all of that blood. Here you have a look at one of the monsters. This image is actually a little bit messy with all this stuff, but this guy's using that little short sword that we had earlier. This guy, I can't really tell what weapon that is. I'm not sure if we've seen that weapon before. Looks like some kind of an axe. Also, we get a glimpse at a different character. Like, this is the character we've been seeing all over the place. Here we have another one that's got a cool looking raincoat as well, and some camo pants. The raincoat and camo pants don't really match, though. So, Code Vein, you get like a 6 out of 10 for fashion on this character. Either way, we get a look at one of the Lost here. This Lost seems to have mutate. Maybe he's not a Lost. Maybe he's a monster or something. I don't know. But I would assume that most of the monsters would be Lost. You can see that he's clearly mutated. He's got like some carapace shit coming out of his legs. He's got some claws. I like the art style a whole lot. Very gothic, but at the same time, a lot of bright colors. So it's not just dark gothic. There's a lot of contrast using all of these reds, which in my opinion is good because it really makes the reds pop out to life. Even in this other character, you can see that she's got like the orange little details on her coat, which again just does wonders for the art style. And then you have these yellow monoliths in the background that we still don't know exactly what those are about, but this guy clearly looks like some kind of a boss or something, which is cool. And in here you also see the mechanic that they were talking about where you're going to be fighting with a buddy. Now, this buddy mechanic assumes that you will take someone from the vein, the conclave of vein dudes or whatever. You pick one of those, and he comes with you on adventures. This, I'm assuming, if you're playing single player, because this game needs to have multiplayer. I mean, don't fuck with me right now, Bandai. You need to put multiplayer on this. Come on. Any dates for the game? Game's coming out in 2018. No further details have been announced yet. But yeah, you see the little buddy system going on here. I really hope we get multiplayer for this. And I hope that there is a chance to have even 4-player multiplayer, because that'd be good. And again, with that kind of multiplayer, it would be so good on the Switch, even though the Switch is probably going to struggle to achieve this level of visual detail. So definitely PS4 if you want this level of detail. But like, I wouldn't mind compromising a little bit on the graphics to be able to play this thing on the go and to be able to play it locally with friends, just like Monster Hunter. Nintendo, you better get on the phone with Bandai, man. Get on the phone with Bandai. Let them know that you want some of this for that Switch. Now, this, I don't even know what this is. This the claw thing that we had? Yeah, this looks like the claw gloves, or maybe it's a piece of armor that's got like claws attached to it. Or maybe this is what they were talking about, how they said you can change your character's form to become more powerful. Maybe this is it. Maybe you get like a timed mutation or something in which you're able to just wreak havoc when you do that. Also, we see another Lost here. At least he looks like a Lost, and your character looks like he's in the process of becoming a Lost in this image, but there's not a whole lot of detail there. Now here, this is what I would assume that this is the main character using Blood Veil. You can see the tubings here going straight into the mask. Not sure what this is doing, but it seems like he's probably draining the blood out of this Lost creature here. It's like you can see his hand seems to be slightly mutated as well, just penetrating this character through the neck. There's like draining him. That's what I would say is happening here. And by draining him, maybe he gains some powers that then allow you to do those overpowered attacks they were talking about. Well, yeah, this is clearly another Lost. This seems to be like the most basic type of Lost. I could be wrong, but like we've seen this kind of imagery in the artwork where this dude looks just like this and he's on the ground getting stomped. So maybe he's just the basic enemy. Here you see a detailed look on the main character. He's got his little vampire teeth going on here, and he has the mask off. I'm assuming he takes the mask for a dramatic effect and a cinematic. However, this does not look particularly impressive. The face detail, it actually looks pretty damn bad. Luckily, we're never going to have to look at our character this close, but hopefully they do a little bit of work on that so that it looks a little bit better. However, the detail on like his armor, or maybe this is the gauntlet weapon that we're talking about, looks great, as well as the armor set, everything except the character's face. I don't know, it looks like it doesn't have texture. Like they need to add that cell shading effect in there. No, it's not playable already, you guys. 2018. Relax. Here you see him with the mask. Looks way better. Way better. Also, you can see the little tubings. There's a lot of these tubings going around these characters. Assuming all of this stuff is about draining blood. I could be wrong. I don't know. Here you see that female character with a little Russian winter hat. I don't know what the name of this thing is. The hair looks great, though. Hair looks really good with the cell shading on the face going on and whatnot. Also, she's got that little gas mask. I believe she takes that off in the next one. Yeah. You can see this character's like losing. She's like, yeah, just getting ready to fucking slaughter somebody. And then you see her actually do it, right? Yep, there it is, that little chain weapon that I was talking about. The first time I saw this, I thought this was some kind of chain sword, but it looks like some kind of tail weapon that she might have. So like a weapon that attaches to her back, and she can kind of use it as a tail during fights. And here you can see her, you can definitely see that the weapon comes off of her back somehow, which would make sense, like a scorpion type weapon or something. And then she is draining blood. Draining the blood. I'm assuming this would be a lost of some kind. And here you can see she's pretty satisfied with herself after she got that blood. You can see the extension. See, in this picture, this is where I thought that this thing right here was a, that this was a sword, a chain sword type deal. Like, you know, those swords that extend and stuff. We've seen that in other games. Chain whip sword, whatever you want to call it. And here you can clearly see that this thing right here has got blood on it. And it's red. That's got to be blood. I'm telling you guys. Them tubes. There's going to be a comment in this video of someone saying, man, those tubes are definitely for blood, Bree. You need to stop talking about that shit. Here you see that claw weapon yet again. We see a different armor piece a little bit. At least the top looks quite a bit different. You see that this particular lost is wielding a sword of some kind. And it's also got the little blood thing. This lost looks a little bit different from the other ones. I like this one. I like the fact that he's got a weapon too. So that's not just them always clawing at you, and maybe different lost with different weapons will require like different strategies for you to take them on and stuff. That'd be cool. Very curious about this gauntlet weapon. Looks badass as fuck. But usually gauntlet weapons are not my style. Here you see like what I'm assuming is I'm assuming this is some kind of special attack. You can see him clawing at the dude with the claws. They leave some kind of light trails behind as he grips onto his sword, which, like I said, look at that. It's got the blood apparatus on it too. So this was probably before he became a lost. He had the sword with the blood drenching abilities, but then he either wasn't able to drain enough blood or he drained far too much. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's if you succumb far too much to your bloodthirst, then you lose your shit. Yeah, that's probably it. It's actually the other way around. Like I was saying, if you're not able to sustain yourself with blood, you turn. I think it's actually the other way around. If you abuse the amount of blood you've consumed, then you turn and you become a lost. You lose all of your memories and you become this thing, this ugly ass thing. And then a revenant like this will come around and kill you. That's what you get. Here we see a little bit of exploration. This is supposed to be like some kind of dungeon crawling RPG. I like this scenario a whole lot better than the city ones, though. Looks a lot cooler. This is a different character because he's blonde. This is the character with the cool jacket, though, and you can get a glimpse at her weapon. Wow. That is definitely some kind of badass-looking axe, which is cool. I think this might be the weapon I go for once again. A little blood stuff going on there. There's a lot of blood things related to this game. Here we see this. Is this a frozen waterfall? Or is it still falling? Looks good, though. I like it. You can see a bit of a post-apocalyptic sense to the world as you're exploring it. And also you can see the diversity of environments. Because like here, you're in ice. Here, you're in a cave. Here, you're in an urban environment, which most of the... I guess this looks more like a dungeon type scenario than an urban environment. But yeah. So you got like urban environment, dungeon environment, underground cave environment, this little ice environment, which is cool. And assuming this is all interconnected, this is going to be good. This is going to be real good. You can customize how your character looks at what gear he wears. I'm assuming you can. You kind of have to in a game like this. A big thing about this game is going to be about fashion for sure. And we've seen different pieces of armor on the same character, I want to say. Here we see another image. This is, again, one of those more modern-looking dungeons. Probably the inside of a building or something. Interesting. So you'll actually be able to go inside buildings and explore the stuff dungeon-like. I'm getting more and more hyped about this game by the minute. And here we got a vision to the outside of the city while we're going inside some kind of structure. Not a whole lot to really analyze than what we've talked about. Looks like these spikes are somehow related to the apocalyptic nature of what happened with the world, like how this spike just straight up impaled a fucking building and destroyed it. Here you have a little bit more detailed look into that Lost that we saw earlier. Looks like he's got some kind of dual blades here. They don't really show a whole lot of detail on these. This might be his weapon. It also seems that this particular kind of Lost has been struck in his heart with some kind of weapon, and that might have caused him to mutate. I don't know, just speculation. It's anything we can really do at this point. Here you see a couple of more details on a couple of Lost here. You can see different versions of Lost. Some of these are artwork, not necessarily in-game, like this guy might be in-game, this guy clearly isn't, or these three others. This guy might be in-game, though. He looks like he could be in-game. Here you see the main character with a different character. Oh, no, wait, it's the same character that we've seen earlier. I just thought it was a girl. It's actually a guy, because of the way that he had his hair. Okay. I like the coat. Here we get to see a whole bunch of Lost. We get to see a new type of Lost here. The fat female Lost with a big-ass hammer. That looks like an interesting boss fight. You can also see him grasp the sword in the inverted position, which is obviously going to be something that as you are comboing your sword around, he's going to inevitably do. Again, just like showing a bunch of art style, a little bit of skin on here as well, for those that like that kind of stuff, of course. Fan service and all that. You can't leave fan service out. Everybody knows that the less armor female characters are wearing, the more armor they actually have. Yeah, this looks cool. Looks like some kind of an encounter that you would have here. Maybe you'd be able to scrounge parts off of the weapons that these guys have. You have a close-up of that Russian character now interacting with the main character. I'm assuming this guy's the main character. I could be completely wrong. It's just, he just kind of looks like the main character, basically. But she's not in her, like, vampire mode. She's got green eyes. Maybe the eyes go red whenever you're summoning your vampiric or your revenant powers, so to speak. Here you have the guy using a different weapon. The fuck is this? It's got like spikes coming out of it and shit. Oh no, wait, there's a blade on there. Again, some of these images, sometimes it's hard to make out. Yeah, no, this is just a regular axe. It's got the blood apparatus on there. We have our regular longsword in here. And we see a lot of the world. It'd be cool, like, if you're in here and you can just, like, okay, I want to go, like, up here to this portion of this building so I can go through here, jump up here, then make my way through here, and then maybe crawl up here and jump and do some kind of, like, jumping dash move and go inside the building, then go around, go through the stairs, and end up there or something. So long as it's proper interconnected world like they say it's going to be, I think this is going to be good. Like, I don't want to see missions, is what I'm saying. You know, I don't want to see, like, oh, gather up in this hub town and now go on a mission and go on a sortie or what. That's not what I want to see, you know? I want to see this game actually break the mold on that kind of stuff and be like, no. You want to go here, you go through here, jump up here, whatnot. We're going to put maybe some fast travel points or give you some other kinds of means of travel where maybe your character can transform into a fucking bat. You know, because he's a revenant, which is kind of like a vampire, so we can transform you into a bat and you can fly for bits or glide using, because like this guy's got his coat. Our character has like as well some stuff that could kind of be used to glide. So if they would give us a gliding mechanic, so I could be like, oh, I'll just come up here, glide all the way down there. That'd be cool too. I'd be okay with that. And this is the final screenshot. We can see our character unleashing like some kind of really powerful ability, which I'm assuming would be after you perform the blood veil or something on an enemy, and you'd be able to blast the crap out of all these dudes. But these are all the screenshots we have. That's all the speculation I really have for you. I'm excited about this game. You guys can probably tell. I usually don't do these these kinds of videos, but it's looking really, really good in my opinion. And I want to see more. I need to see more, Bandai. Where's more? We want gameplay. Gameplay, bro. I believe they've reported that this game is about 35% complete, which means this is still a long ways off. We still have a lot of games to keep us busy until then, so just take your time. Just make sure you make it good. Anybody in chat, you guys have any questions that you guys would like to ask? I just noticed I'm covering the face of the main character. I hope I didn't do that for long. I covered a couple of them. My bad. And again, not a whole lot. But yeah. If you guys have any questions in chat, ask away. If you are watching this in video format, leave me all your questions in the comment section and anything that I can try to explain. Even though, again, just remember, most of this stuff right now is just like complete speculation. There's no facts other than this is going to be an action RPG, challenging by what they're saying, and it's going to be in an interconnected world. Is mayonnaise a valid question? No, you failed. Well, since not a lot of people in chat have a lot of questions, probably going to call this here. We will see as more news develops on Code Vein. I plan on following this pretty closely because I'm interested. You guys know me. I like Souls. I like Monster Hunter. This seems like it could be a decent mesh of both. We shall see what turns out. Very curious to see what the God Eater team has for us with this bad boy right here. Thank you guys very much for watching. Remember, if you enjoyed this this video, if you're watching it live, hit that like button. If you're watching it later as a video, hit the like button as well. Helps out a lot. If you're new here, hit subscribe button so that you're always notified when I'm going live with live stream or when there's a new video out. And if you really, really, really enjoyed it, consider sponsoring. There's a link in the description below where you can sponsor and become grossly incandescent so that you get a cool little Solaire icon in chat. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.